Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Review of Honor, where we talk about everything that happens inside of a Ring of Honor ring. We are coming off of our 19th anniversary pay-per-view. We have some interesting matches here because as we kind of know, when Ring of Honor comes out of a pay-per-view, their first episode usually doesn't have much dealing with the pay-per-view itself. They don't believe in having pay-per-view fallout immediately. But one thing that we can say is that we want to say a special thank you to all of you guys, because speaking of immediately, our review of the pay-per-view itself has broken 100 views on the YouTube channel. So we are cruising along pretty steadily with that, and that is always great news. And here to share that great news and here to share this episode with me is none other than my co-host, the three-time baby-making champ. This is Ness. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing much better now hearing the news on our review, man. Like it's great, honestly, because when you think of Ring of Honor, we don't really expect a lot of people to be tuned into it. We know that wrestling's already a niche audience, and then under there's like the subdivisions under that, and at the moment in time, Ring of Honor might not be at the top of those subdivisions, but it's great to hear that people, they tuned in, they tapped in, and they're loving our stuff, especially after the pay-per-view, which was a great pay-per-view. Again, if you guys are watching this now, if you haven't seen our review of the 19th anniversary show, please go do that. Show your love, show your support. Again, it was a great show, and as always, our reviews on True Heel Heat, the YouTube channel, those are always great. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, I know that Ness and I were a little concerned because we love to talk about wrestling of all shapes, all sizes, all kinds, and we kind of we were doing a little bit of rambling, and that review was a little over 2 hours long. So to know that it was such a big hit with you guys has been incredible, and that's why we welcome you at this time to hit that like button, comment, share, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. So this is our post-19th anniversary pay-per-view episode of Ring of Honor. There's not a lot that's going to be happening from storyline perspectives, but in a way, our first match is kind of keeping things moving from that storyline perspective. It is a matchup between City Bruiser and Mike Bennett. We have Matt Taven on commentary, keeping that connection going between everything that's happening between the OGK and Beer City Bruisers. We know that they're due to a nice little vignette or promo video. We know that there are some struggles between Malonis and Bruiser. They're not really on the same page. Bruiser's kind of saying, we got to win. I'm tired of being the guy that everybody wants to drink with and everybody wants to have a good time with, but it doesn't do anything for me. It just doesn't help me in any way. So I want to be somebody who wins. In order to be somebody who wins, he's got to do what he's got to do. And maybe that's the way that this story, we were talking about, how does this Vincent and Taven storyline continue now that an unsanctioned match ended in a no contest? Well, you bring in Bruiser, you bring in Malonis. Now it's kind of a fight for the soul, in a sense, of those two guys, and see whether or not they are going to be able to be properly saved. And Mike Bennett says, sometimes to save somebody, you got to beat some truth into them. And if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So we're having this match, and Taven's on commentary, keeping things going, and I don't know. This match was weirdly kind of good. It was weirdly kind of. Yeah. It was. I don't know what it was, and I don't remember now if the ref was Todd Sinclair or not. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was. I think he's the only referee for Ring of Honor, and to that I gotta say, sir, you have some very confusing standards, because Roosh attempts to murder people on a daily basis whenever he's in the ring, and you don't do shit. Beer City Bruiser takes a beer bottle, breaks it, and is just holding it. He hasn't threatened Mike Bennett with it. He hasn't actually attempted to hit Mike Bennett, stab him, scratch him, slash him, any other word of violence you want to think of. But you're like, no, this is too much, bro. This is too much. I'm going to call the match. I'm going to call the match. And he makes it a no contest. If anything, he doesn't even bother to disqualify Bruiser and let Bennett at least get the win. He's like, no. This is going to be a no contest. But I appreciate the fact that Taven, as soon as the beer bottle was broken, was like, no, I'm going to go do something. and left commentary and was running down there to try to solve this problem. And I don't know. I like the match. I gave the match itself two and a quarter. Nothing too crazy. One other thing is that I really need them to give Beer City Bruiser an actual name, just because when Taven's standing there in the ring and he's like, "This is how we're gonna do it, Beer City. This is how we're gonna do it." I was like, that just sounds wrong. Like, something about that sounds wrong to me. But I don't know. Ness, what were your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I gave this match 2 and a quarter. I think that's a fair rating for it. Before I get into the match, it was fucking great to have somebody on commentary that's acknowledging the issues going on between, well, one, the Beer City Bruiser, the OGK, the whole instance of Vinny and the Righteous, with Matt Taven. Finally, someone from that circle being on commentary, playing up on that storyline. Because week after week, when we had Maria Kanellis on commentary, not giving one fuck about this whole situation, not even acknowledging what's going on between everyone involved, that definitely got very draining. So it was good to have Taven on commentary this week to play up on the story. So kudos to Ring of Honor staff for that happening. Thank you for acknowledging this. The match itself, I have to honestly say, it was very, very interesting for the fact that this might have been the first match with Beer City Bruiser in that I can say that I was thoroughly entertained by his performance, I should say. He worked the injured leg and ankle of Mike Bennett, which very methodical. He was just attacking it for a good duration of the match prior to the match getting thrown out. I actually liked the way he was working it, and they played up on commentary saying, like, look at the way he's attacking his ankle and twisting it and the things that he's doing. He wants to win. It's not illegal. Like I think Ian Riccaboni have said it. Possibly it was either him or Caprice Coleman. They said it. Like, it's not necessarily illegal. It's just not the right thing to do when you consider someone a friend. But at this point in time, there are no friends. Beer City Bruiser has continuously said this over and over. I'm here to win. I'm not here to make friends. And that's the mindset that he has. And it's carrying over every time that he's on screen. And I like that they're keeping, that continuity going with him as far as this heel turn. I definitely 100% agree with you on the fact that Rouge can do all these type of things, even outside of Jay Lethal asking Todd Sinclair not to throw the match out. That's just the one time that Todd Sinclair didn't disqualify Rouge for a match, because it's been multiple times that they've taken it to the outside. He's using wires. He's using just everything around the ring. And it's just like, oh, we're doing this at referee discretion. Beer City Bruiser, he grabs the bottle, breaks the bottle, and it's like, oh no, that's too much. That's too much. We got to that out. And I'm like, really? And I said the same thing too. I'm like, all right, he broke. He's not even in the ring. At one point, I'm thinking, I'm like, I know that's not a 10 count. That was way too fast to even be a 10 count or a 20, whatever the case may be. But that was like one of the gripes that I had. The only gripe I really had about the match was that they threw it out just because he broke the beer bottle. But yeah, 2 and a quarter. This might have definitely been the best I've seen Beer City Bruiser But yeah, just the way they just threw the match out, I think that was a little bit tad ridiculous, considering the things that we've seen done by our ROH World Champion. But yeah, great showing by Bruiser.
I think a better way of, if they wanted it to go to, I mean, basically a no decision. I think a better way to do it would have been to have Taven run down, and Taven's trying to not interfere, but he's like, hey, like, what are you doing? And then when he sees that Bruiser's really gonna actually hit Bennett with it, he like attacks Bruiser and causes the disqualification, saying that a win is not more important than your health. Because that's you could die from that.
Well, yeah. Who knows?
So like and in that situation, you get over the fact you're getting over the fact that Bruiser was willing to use it, and that but for Taven, Bennett was in dire straits and needed the help, and that he's only in dire straits because Bruiser put him there. And that's getting Bruiser over more as a heel. So I think they could have done a little bit. They could have mapped it out a little bit better. But one thing that they mapped out pretty well is our next match. Our next match is a pure wrestling gauntlet match. Now there are a number of competitors from the Ring of Honor dojo, and there's some interesting like mini stories that are weaved in through the course of this gauntlet match. But what I liked about it was they noted that the rules would not allow for your rope breaks to reset. So let's say, one guy, person A starts off with person B, and person B ends up beating person A. But in the meantime, during the course of that, they used up 2 of their rope breaks. Well, they go into the next part of the gauntlet with just 1 rope break. So it's designed to be a test of endurance. And that's something that we're going to see during part of this match. Also, within the match, they have these nice little stories that play out because of the people involved. We have Will Ferrara starting us off with Dante Caballero, and Ferrara is the trainer at the ROH dojo. So these are going to be some student versus teacher matches. Ferrara is going to put away Dante Caballero, and then we're going to bring in the world famous CB. And interesting here is that they noted that the last match Will Ferrara had, a singles match, was a match without honor against CB. So there is storyline continuity into why there is some animosity between these guys. World famous CB eliminates Will Ferrara. Then we have world famous CB taking on Eric Martin, another one of the students from the ROH dojo. He's going to put him away. And then we're going to get Wheeler Utah coming out. And these guys have a quick back and forth before Utah's able to put CB away. And finally, our final competitor is Fred Yehi. And I think that really what they wanted to do was have a Wheeler Utah versus Fred Yehi singles match. But they were like, how do we allow other people to be involved in this? And how do we come up with something creative to allow them to do that? So kudos to them for that. This total match, where Fred Yehi at the end will eliminate Wheeler Utah, and he will be the winner of this gauntlet match. This match goes for just under 26 minutes. It's some good matches in between, some good little bits here and there. I think one of the problems I don't always like about gauntlet matches is that sometimes people randomly lose endurance. For a great example would be that Will Ferrara gets eliminated in 4 minutes and 15 seconds by CB. He'd only had a 6-minute match before. I guess you could say maybe he's tired from that. But then we've also seen situations where people like shock the person who's entering the match fresh. So I don't know, something about gauntlet matches kind of throw me off about that. I like the concept of it, that endurance Iron Man kind of aspect of it. I gave the match as a whole 2 3/4, but I would give Fred Yehi and Utah like the bulk of that. I feel like they could have gone. I mean, those 2 guys are guys who could have had a great singles match. But Ness, what were your thoughts about the gauntlet match as a whole, the rules, and then the return of world famous CB?
Yeah, I actually agree with the rating. I gave it 2 3/4 stars as well. The idea of a gauntlet, a pure rules gauntlet match, that's innovative. It's innovative as hell. Kudos to Ring of Honor management for, they're trying different things with their pure division. It is not just regular matches where there's just one pure wrestler versus the next pure wrestler. They did the tag team match, which that's again another innovative thing that they're doing with this division. So now that there's going to be now that we've had a gauntlet match, I like that, and I like the fact that just like in regular gauntlet matches, you don't get a chance to rest, and you just got to fight through, whatever you've been through with your first opponent. If you make it through that, then you got to go in the same amount of whatever stamina, whatever level of endurance that you're at. It's just going to keep depleting, unfortunately. But, that's the idea of the gauntlet, to see if you can go through beat all these people. The fact that they won't reset your rope breaks, everything carries over. I gotta give them props for that. I think that's a great idea. You shouldn't have to, for lack of a better word, I won't say reward, but you shouldn't have to start fresh if you're in a gauntlet match, in my opinion. So I definitely like that. Now the stories that were being told, because like you said, it seemed like every matchup literally had a link to the person that they were facing, which was great. The first two that started off, Wolf Ferrara and oh man, it's losing me.
Caballero.
And Caballero, Dante Caballero, with Wolf Ferrara being the teacher, it just goes to show that, Dante has a little bit more to work on. And he, at some point, it seemed like he was getting a little cocky. He's like, "Hey, come on, coach! Like, got to step it up." But then Will went on to show him that, you're the student, I'm the teacher. There's still some things that you need to learn, and I have I have the experience over you. So that was good. And then when it came down to world famous CB versus Wolf Ferrara, they played up on the fact that these guys had the last match that Wolf Ferrara had was against CB, and it was the fight without honor. But at this point in time, Wolf Ferrara, he says before their match starts, which I love this as well, that he said, "Look, man, whatever we had in the past is the past. We had a fight without honor. Right now, this is going to be for honor." The foundation, guys like Jonathan Gresham, who's an ROH dojo trainer alongside Will Ferrara, they're all in this pure state of mind for wrestling. So he's saying to CB, the past is the past. We're here to fight with honor. They adhere to the code of honor. They go on to have the match. Will Ferrara didn't succeed in this match, but he still showed at the end of the match, that same honor that he had in the overall idea of the pure division. So that was great. Next was Eric Martin, who surprisingly off topic, he kind of reminds, like facial a little bit, he kind of reminds me of Drew McIntyre in a sense. Like he kind of looks like him. I don't know why. It was just random. Yeah, I seen it a little bit. And they were talking about how he has like somewhat of a feeling of Adam Page, like a young guy that once he hits his stride, he's going to be a star. I've seen bits and pieces of that during this match. I honestly don't remember seeing him before, if I have, but he definitely was showing some shades of that. He can be something, definitely in the pure division, but overall, he'll be a future talent. I like the fact that they used him as well. Not just guys that we know like Wheeler Utah, Freddie Yehai, world famous CB, and Will Ferrara. They actually used some guys like Dante Caballero that we have a little bit of familiarity with, and then also Eric Martin, because the future. We got to think of the future. Of course, we have all these guys that are Ring of Honor, mainstays, and we know them and we know what they're about, but we need to see what's going to go on, future-wise as well. And he had a great showing against CB. It was just the experience factor, again, in CB being in this type of this style of match where you can't just get punched in the face and it's over. You really have to wrestle. And that's what it came down to, the long, lanky body of world famous CB getting Eric Martin in the submission. I forgot the name of it, but that was a sick submission. I actually liked it.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, so then moving on, then CB versus who is next? I'm trying to keep it going as
Wheeler Yuta.
Wheeler Yuta. You know, these guys have history. They played on that on commentary. Wheeler Yuta just having that little bit more momentum in this match going on. And at this point, I actually like the fact that obviously he was going to go over at this point in their match. World famous CB, he exasperated all of his rope breaks. So I like the fact that, you know, as he's going on, winning these matches, getting to the point where now he's on his third opponent and he used all his rope breaks. So it was getting down to the fact where he was doing all this work, and now it's like like I said, you're depleted. You're pretty much at the end of quote unquote lifespan, and Wheeler Yuta took advantage of that. So I like that. But ultimately, I wish these guys would have got more time in, you know, the last stretch of the match between Wheeler Yuta and Fred Yehi. But as a fan of the Savage Weight, I'm happy that Fred Yehi went over. That's one of the guys, him and Wheeler Yuta, both of these guys in the pure division. If not stars now, if people, you know, that's a star is always subjective. That might not be everybody's opinion. In my opinion, I think they are stars of the pure division. But if not, they are definitely future stars. So I'm definitely looking forward to what this win means for Fred Yehi. They said that, you know, they'll see him hopefully being shot up in the ranks. I won't say like shot up per se, but maybe third, possibly second in line for a pure title shot. You know, I think that should be like a good reward. But overall, I love the aesthetic of the match. The Gauntlet rules it's really innovative, and I can't wait to see them do this again sometime and possibly use like more established stars to really give that feeling of how important this style and this quote unquote gimmick of the match really is. So 2 3/4 stars, I really did enjoy it. I wish Wheeler Yuta and Fred Yehi would have gotten a little bit more time, but man, that finish where he had the Koji clutch and Wheeler Yuta was like trying to twist his foot out of it, and then he lets it go just to put it in again from the different side. I was like, man, that was really smart, and the transition was just like really smooth and really good to actually see. So, man, it was good. I think this is an idea that they're definitely going to keep using in the future, and if they should.
I don't care if it's not for the title or for the title, whatever. But Fred Yehi versus Jonathan Gresham, we gotta get that.
Yeah,
we gotta get that. That's gonna be.
I'm all for that. We're definitely all for that.
That's gonna be a big one. But guys,
I'm to add something. I really like. I'll probably said this before. The fact that like every week we're getting a pure rules match of some sort. I love that there were like, at this point, I'm banking on getting some type of pure rules match on Ring of Honor. And, you know, I like the fact that it's not always focused on the champion. It's all the guys trying to build up their stock and climb up in the ranks to face the champion and make it matter at that point, you know. And it's like, it's not overworking or overexposure, I should say, to Jonathan Gresham or, you know, whoever it should be at the time when currently he's a champ. But the fact that they're putting so much emphasis on this division and making everything count, that's a great thing in Ring of Honor. I think that's probably one of their strong points for their TV show at this point. It's like you're based on, you know, you're going to get a pure rules match, so you know they're going to have to go out there and wrestle a certain way, instead of just, you know, maybe something that we see every week on another company or another show. So like, this is just their thing. So that kudos to them for staying with that.
For sure. I agree with you 100%. And how they are building that, the fact that these matches are not always the champion. It's people chasing the champion. That's always important. You gotta reinforce that chase the champion mentality. Like Gresham, as much as we want to see Gresham, Gresham is not somebody who should be on TV every week.
Yeah.
Just as much as we want to see Roosh is not somebody who should be on TV every week. We need to be seeing people go after the champion, go out and determine the challengers. And that just adds to the prestige of being the champion, so that when you step in the ring with Roosh, you know that the iron sharpens iron. You were supposed to be there. You've proved that you are supposed to be there, and that's something that they do very well in Ring of Honor. And that's something that we are going to be seeing going forward for one person in particular, because as we close out Review of Honor, we want to share with you guys a little bit of news. Dalton Castle has re-signed with Ring of Honor. I believe it's a multi-year contract, so he is staying with Ring of Honor. And this is some good news, because we have seen the kind of faltering Dalton Castle storyline, and I think part of the reason why they put that in there was because they didn't know whether Dalton Castle was going to re-sign. So they were like, well, if he does, and all right, he was losing. And if he does, we can build him back up. And Dalton Castle is somebody who is primed to be a babyface that can be built back up very easily. And I think he will be involved maybe in some way in that Silas Young, Josh Woods feud. I don't know how exactly that will work. Maybe there'll be some kind of situation where Silas Young is bringing in a new protege and showing, I'm going to make this person be better than Josh Woods to prove that it was Josh Woods who failed Josh Woods, not Silas Young who failed Josh Woods. And maybe Josh Woods has to turn to somebody who, eat a little bit of that humble pie and turn to somebody like Dalton Castle and say, can you help me with this situation? But even if it's not that, and it's just Dalton Castle going slowly up the ranks, that is something that will be very interesting to see. I think Dalton Castle versus Roosh will be a potentially really good match. I want to see that. I want to see him try to hit Bangarang on Roosh. That'll be pretty interesting to see. But Ness, tell the fine people where they can find you, sir.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can follow me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And as always, you can catch me right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, one half of Review of Honor, my man is StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers, as we review everything that happens in the Ring of Honor ring. You can also catch me on Blunt Impact and Joints to Jabronis with my man Chris G. We formed the Pot Heels, the Round Table Rebel. You catch me on the Round Tables. And as always, you can hear my illustrious voice on True Toxicity.
Yeah, guys, you can catch me here, of course, and also on Dark Power, where we cover everything that happens on AEW Dark, Dark Elevation, MLW Fusion, and NWA. And always, you can see me in our various Facebook groups, getting into conversations and discussions with you. We welcome all of that, and we love being able to interact with you guys on a daily basis. So for myself, the StatKing, for my co-host, the three-time baby-making champ, Ness, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.